All right. So you should be able to hear me now through my mic. Yes. Okay. We'll get started. So for your practice today, I would suggest that you have, I always suggest blocks and a belt because it's helpful to have those things. And even a blanket or a pillow because sometimes you need those things to even out the hip. But we can make way without all of the props. So if you don't have any of those things handy, you're still going to have a great practice. Make your way to a comfortable seated position. So it might be Sukhasana with the ankles crossed, or it may be Siddhasana where the heels are pulled in. And if the hips are tight and the knees are more upright, that's when I think it's nice to be able to sit on a block or a pillow or a blanket to just elevate the hips a little higher than the knees. Draw your shoulders back and drop your shoulder blades down. Place your hands on the thighs. The palms can be up or down, whatever feels natural to you. Conventional thought is palms down contains energy and palms up you need. Bring the index and thumb to meet and close your eyes or simply soften your gaze. And take a few deep breaths now. You've arrived in this moment. You've set aside this time to do some yoga. Allow yourself to transition by taking a few deep breaths. Take about 3 deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. And as you breathe in, fill the lungs completely. And then as you exhale, you're just going to ride that exhale out as long as you can. Nice long stream of. And after full exchanges of air, 2 or 3 breaths, then just come back to your natural breath. Breathing in and out through the nose, and breathing down here from the belly. So noticing the belly pushing out, getting big on the inhale, and then just settling softly on the exhale. And for these first few moments of your practice, allow your awareness now to just come to focus on your breath. Breath in, breath out. Invite in a slow, steady rhythm of breathing. Just begin to let your breath wash over you, nourishing you, then giving you oxygen on each inhale, and then on your exhales, letting go of whatever you don't, whatever isn't serving you well at this moment. Continue to breathe deeply and slowly, but allow your awareness to shift now, taking it from the breath and allowing it to center in your physical body. Just take these next few moments to tune in to your body. Notice how you're feeling in this physical container this after a long day of work. Notice if there's any tightness or stiffness or soreness that you may need to tend with in your physical practice. So maybe do a body scan starting from the toes, going all the way up to the crown of the head. taking special note of those places that may need some tender loving care in your practice. Then with another deep breath, transition your awareness into your spirit body. So this is the place that houses feelings and emotions. Just take a moment to register any of those feelings or emotions that are present that you can identify. We're complex human beings. We have a wide range of emotions. And I'm sure as SEL teachers, you're very aware of that, how they affect us and how those feelings can show up in our body, change our thinking. So just becoming aware of any feeling, the complexity of those, the ability to have feelings that might oppositional. We can hold them all. Then take another deep breath. As we get into our physical practice now, bring this awareness with you and allow your physical practice to honor whatever you notice showing up in your body. So if you're tired, if your body is tired, if your spirit is a little low or tired, take more resting poses, shorter activation. This is your practice. Let it work for you. Practice with kindness, with compassion towards yourself. Bring your hands together at your heart center. Let the thumbs rest lightly on the breastbone and exhale as you drop the chin towards the hands. Just recognize your efforts getting here, concealing those intentions for your breath. Then bring your head back to a neutral position. Open your eyes or lift your gaze. And take your hands back to the thighs now. Broaden the chest and draw the shoulders back. And now draw the belly in and reach up with the crown of the head. So you're lifting the ribs up off the hip. As you exhale, drop the chin to the chest and slide the shoulder blades down the back. So you're stretching the trapezius muscle. And then rock the right ear towards the right shoulder. Stretch out the side neck. And then roll the chin back to center. Take the left ear towards left shoulder. Just repeat that motion a few times, rolling the chin back and forth. And then being gentle with the neck. Let the head roll all the way around, tipping the chin up, taking the head back. And then reverse your head roll, taking it in the opposite direction. Bring your head back to neutral and just roll the shoulders up and back a few times, taking a few more deep breaths. Take the right arm across the chest and hug the arm into the chest. You can also add a little movement, get the synovial fluid moving through your finger joint, lubricating all the little joints as well as the big ones. And then switch arms, taking left arm across, hug it close, get a nice stretch on the outside of the upper arm, the shoulder. And then release the hands and take them to your sides with the palms up. Inhale to sweep the arms overhead. And then as you exhale, push the palms down and take the hands behind you, clasping. As you inhale again, pull the knuckles down, lift the heart and stretch the chest. And then exhale to drape the upper body over the lower body. Keep your sit bones rooted on the mat. And take that stretch all the way down into the low part of the spine. Just breathing deeply into the low rib. And then inhale
drawing yourself upright. And exhale to release the hands and take that right hand by the hip. Inhale the left arm up. As you exhale, twist and look out over the right shoulder as you bring the left hand to the outside of the knee. If it doesn't quite want to go there, bring it to the inside of the shin. And then take a few deep breaths again down into the twist, just starting to loosen up and add a little movement into the spine. Then inhale as you sweep that left arm back upright and exhale it by the hip. We'll switch sides. Inhale the right arm up, getting length in the spine, and then keep that length. As you exhale, twist to the left. Look out over the shoulder and bring the hand to the outside of the leg. Take a few deep breaths. Maybe in through the nose and out through the mouth again. Then release. Inhale, back to center, and exhale, arm down. Make your way up onto the knees, coming into Vajrasana or thunderbolt pose. Setting the hips on the heels, and if that doesn't quite work in your body, you can take your yoga block and set them in between the heels to create a little perch, or you can also slip a pillow or a blanket in between the thighs and the calves. Stack the shoulders over the hip, reach up with the crown of the head, draw the sides of the waist in, and rest the hands on the thighs. Keeping the chest broad, just take a few breaths here in Thunderbolt. Stretching out the quads, also stretching out that area around the. And then to increase the stretch, drop the left hand behind the hip. Inhale the right arm up and lift the hips up off the heels as you reach back with that right hand, palm down. And then exhale to lower down and take the right hand behind you and we'll switch sides. Inhale the left arm up, lift the hips up, reach back, palm down, get a nice stretch up the side body. And then exhale to release. Rock forward, coming onto all fours. Tabletop. Varmanasana. Align the wrists under the shoulders and the knees under the hips. And then drop the hips off to the right. Let the full weight of the body sink into that right hip. And then push forward and back a little. So you're stretching out the glutes. Getting into that IT band a little bit, the upper thigh. And then take the hips over to the left and do the same thing. Keep breathing. And then take the hips right and left a few times, just wagging the dog. And then as you come back to center, exhale to round the back, tuck the chin and the tail, push away from you with the palm. And then inhale as you pull the heart forward. Let the belly sink and tip the hips up. And let's do this a few times. Exhale, rounding the back, tucking the chin and tail, coming to cat pose, Marjariasana. And then inhale, draw the heart forward, pull the heart between the arms, tip the hips up, Vitalasana. Exhale, back to cat. And inhale to cow. One more time. Exhale, rounding the back to cat. And inhale, drawing the heart forward, tipping the hips up, belly and cow. And then come back to a neutral spine, back to table. Inhale to bring the right arm forward and the left leg back, balancing this table. Try to bring the arm to shoulder height and the leg to hip height. Draw the belly up and in, engaging the core. Reach in opposite directions, fingertips and toes. And then exhale down and switch sides. As you inhale, take the left arm forward, right leg back. And breathe. Then exhale down. Walk your hands forward 4 to 6 inches. And then shift the weight forward. So you're realigning now the shoulders over the wrist. And you're pitched forward. Swing the hips all the way around. Taking those hips back by the heels and then all the way up. You're making a big circle with the hips. Really stretching out the hips, thighs, and the low back. And breathe. Nice big breath. And then switch directions. And then end up with the hips back by the heels. Flatten the palms on the mat. Tuck your toes under. And as you inhale, lift those hips up, coming all the way to down dog. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Keep the hips high and then lower the heels toward the floor. Get a nice sustained stretch on the back of the legs. Shake the head a little bit, loosening the neck, and then begin to pedal the feet. Still taking deep breaths throughout your practice. And then walk your feet as wide as your mat and put a little bend in the knees. Walk the hands back toward the feet and then straighten the legs as much as you can. And take the hands to the back of the spine, so at the sacrum, clasping your hands. Drop the clasped hands toward your head to come into a shoulder opener. Take a few breaths here. Draw the belly up and in to help you get a deeper fold. And if it feels good, you can sway from side to side and swivel a little bit at the waist, increasing the stretch. Otherwise, you can lower the hands back to the sacrum at any time and keep a little bend in the knees. And if you haven't already done so, take the hands back to the sacrum. Put a little bend in the knees and release the hands so they're just hanging in front of you now. Grab opposite elbow. And just let the weight of the upper body hang from the low body. And breathe. Hanging in ragdoll. Just a limp, raggedy hand. And then release the hands, keeping that little bend in the knee. Very slowly, start to roll up, keeping the back rounded and the chin tucked. Let the head be the last thing that comes up and around. And then once you're standing, draw the shoulders back, drop the shoulder blades down the back, and walk to the top of your mat, coming into mountain pose, Tadasana. Mountain is the core of all our other yoga poses. So it always benefits us to take a few breaths to get settled and grounded in mountain. Rock between the balls and the heels of your feet until you find the weight is equally distributed. Stack shoulders over hips, reach down with the fingertips, and draw the palms slightly forward. Keeping the chest broad, reach up with the crown of the head and draw up on the kneecaps as well. And then just take a few deep breaths here, noticing how stable
and how strong you are in this pose. The muscles are activated. You have strength, you have length. And then warming up with a few half sun salutes. Inhale to sweep the arms overhead. Let the hands meet. Exhale, releasing into a forward fold. Inhale, draw yourself halfway up, pull the heart forward, hands can rest below the knee. And exhale back to a forward fold. Inhale, sweeping the arms back overhead, hands meet with a tiny back bend. And then exhale, sliding the hands past heart center. Again, inhale, arms overhead, Urdhva Hastasana. Hands meet. Exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, drawing halfway up, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, back to your fold. Inhale, sweeping the arms overhead. And exhale, hands past heart. This time we're going to step back. Inhale, arms up, Urdhva Hastasana. And exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway up to lengthen the spine. Exhale, fold, this time placing fingertips by toes and stepping the right foot back. Bend the left knee and align knee over ankle. Draw the heart forward. You can keep the hands on the blocks, or if you're feeling stable, release the arms up. Coming into Ashtha Chandrasana, a high lunge. Drop into the hips and slide the shoulder blades down the back. And breathe. Getting a really nice stretch in that right hip flexor, building strength in your left quad. Palms face each other. Lots of room around the neck. Exhale to release the hands back to the floor. Drop the right knee to the mat. Take the hands onto the left thigh and sink into the hips. So you're pushing the hips down and forward, coming into Anjaneyasana or low lunge. And then exhale as you straighten that front leg any degree and fold the chest toward the floor. Coming into Ardha Hanumanasana, so a half split variation. And keep breathing. Inhale back to your low lunge position. And then tuck the right toes under. Lift that knee up. And then step the left foot back to meet the right. Coming back to down dog. Inhale the right leg up behind you, and then bend the knee and pull that foot up in between the hand, helping it as you need. Draw the heart forward and reach back with the left heel. You can keep hands on blocks or floor, or if you're feeling stable, release the arms overhead. Drop into the hips and breathe. High lunge, Ashtha Chandrasana. Always coming back to the breath after you get settled in the pose. And then exhale, hands on either side of the front foot, taking the left knee to the mat. As you inhale, draw yourself upright, placing hands on thighs, and then drop a little deeper into the hips, still keeping that knee to ankle alignment. Anjaneyasana, low lunge. And then exhale, as you straighten that front leg to any degree, draw the heart forward, flattening the back, and then fold the chest toward the floor. Coming into half splits variation.
Take a few more deep breaths, getting a nice sustained stretch on the hamstring. And then bend the front knee, rocking back to low lunge. Tuck the left toe under, lift that knee up, and then step the right foot back to the left, coming to down dog. Draw the belly up and in, and then shift your weight forward, coming into plank pose, Balakasana. Shoulders over wrists, body in a nice long line, and then lower down to the mat, dropping the knees first, hugging elbows into the waist. Inhale as you lift the head and chest up, coming into a low cobra, slight back bend. And then exhale, lower the chest down, tuck the toes under, shift the hips back toward the plant the palms firmly. Inhale to lift the hips up. Walk the feet up to meet the hands. As you inhale, draw yourself halfway up back to Ardha Uttasana. Exhale, back to your fold. Inhale, arms overhead. And exhale, hands past heart. Let's just do one sun salute now, flowing through. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana, arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, fold and step back to plank. Lower down to the floor, dropping knees first. Inhaling up into a baby back bend. And then exhaling to downward facing dog. Draw the belly up and in. Walk your feet up to meet the hands. As you inhale, lift halfway up. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale. Hands meet overhead. And exhale, hands to heart. And then just pause for a moment here. Notice how you've gone from a place of relative quiet to this place where maybe the breath has quickened, the blood is pumping, maybe even a slight change in your body temp. Another deep breath, and then release. Hands to side, and add a little movement back so you can do what I call the Qigong bounce, just a little bouncy in the knees and releasing the hips, or empty coat sleeves twist, rolling the shoulders, and we'll transition into a few standing poses. And we're going to start with chair, Utkatasana. We're going to add a little arm vinyasa or arm movement to keep to strengthen, but also to keep us distracted while we hold the pose. So bring the feet as close together as they'll come. And then you're going to untuck the tail. So you're going to let your booty stick out. Bend the knees and sink the hips back so you can still see the toes and the tops of the feet. And then inhale, arms up. Elbows come up there by the ears. Drop the shoulder blades down the back, palms face each other. Taking the weight into the heels of the feet. So you can even lift the toes. And breathe. Building a little heat, building lots of strength. And we're going to add this arm movement. So just start to alternate the arms, like swinging them up and back. Keeping the weight in the heels of the feet. Keep breathing. And then let's end up with both arms back overhead. Straighten the legs as you inhale all the way up. And then exhale, arms to sides. And roll the shoulders again. Take a breath. And step about 2/3 of the way back on your mat.
Step forward with the right foot. The back foot can be angled out, but you want to close the hip. So push the left hip forward, pull the right hip back. So the hips are even at the back body. Inhale the arms overhead and exhale as you bend the front knee. Pull up gently on the back kneecap and breathe. Warrior One, Virabhadrasana 1. Keep that back leg nice and straight. Lift the heart, creating lots of space around the neck by drawing the shoulder blades down the back. A few more breaths here. And then straighten the front leg. Exhale, arms to side. And step or heel toe the back foot up to meet the front. Roll that back ankle. It's a little harsh on our back foot. And then we'll switch sides. So step back with the right foot this time. And again, that back foot may be angled out a little bit, but you want to close the hip. So push the right hip forward and pull the left hip back until you can feel both hip bones are facing the front of your mat. Inhale the arms overhead. Elbows come up in line with the ears. Drop the shoulder blades and exhale as you bend the front knee. And that'll rock you to the inner heel of the back foot. So ground into the inner heel of the back foot and draw up gently on the kneecap. Draw the sides of the waist in and breathe. One more nice deep breath here in Warrior One. And then inhale as you straighten the front leg and exhale, arms to side. Step or heel toe the back foot up. And then roll that ankle, giving it a little love. And we'll move into open hipped pose. So step wide on the mat. And your feet stance should be wide enough that when you take your arms up and point the fingertips down, the fingertips are right over the ankles. So a nice wide stance. Turn the right foot out 90 degrees and turn the back foot in 45 degrees, looking for heel to arch alignment in the feet. And then draw the left shoulder back so that you're opening the chest and the hip fully to the front. Inhale the arms up, shoulder height, palms down. Draw the pinky side back slightly and then drop the shoulder blades. Keep those shoulder blades down the back. Exhale, bend the front knee, aligning knee over ankle and breathe. Look out at the right middle finger. Virabhadrasana 2 or Warrior 2. Tuck the tail under a tiny bit so you're curling that tailbone forward, lengthening the spine. You might feel an added stretch in the hip flexor when you do that. A few more breaths here. And then drop the back hand to the thigh and inhale the right arm up as you turn the palm up, coming into Viparita Virabhadrasana, reverse warrior. You can look up at the ceiling or at that top arm. Take a few more breaths.
And then cartwheel the arms back to their starting position. Straighten the front leg, lower arms to side, and turn the feet parallel. Take a breath, and we'll transition into our other side, doing the same flow between the two poses. Turn the left foot out 90 degrees so it faces the front edge of the mat, and then turn the back foot in about 45. Pull that right shoulder back, squaring the chest. Inhale the arms up, shoulder height, palms down. Pull back on the pinky side and then drop the shoulder blades. As you exhale, bend the front knee. Align the knee over the ankle. Pull up gently on the back kneecap, and then look out at the left middle finger. Spend a few breaths and then maybe tuck the tail under a tiny bit. Glance down at the front foot. You should be able to see the outline of the big toe. If not, the knee has collapsed in. Pull the knee away from the midline of the body. And lower the back hand to the thigh, flip the front palm up. Inhale the arm overhead and try to keep that kneel to ankle alignment in the front leg as you exhale back into a reverse warrior position. You can look up at the ceiling or at the hand and breathe. And then cartwheel the arms back to warrior two. Flip the palms up, straighten the front leg as you inhale, take the arms overhead and turn the feet parallel. Clasp fingertips and extend the index fingers straight up, and then lift the heart, look up, stretching the upper body, pulling the elbows back behind the ears. This is Sepana Mudra. Gets rid of negative energy. And then exhale to release. Roll the shoulders. Step, hop, or heel toe the feet together. And come back to your mountain pose. Place a hand on belly, a hand on heart, or just come into any hand position that you like. Close your eyes or simply soften the gaze and take a few breaths. Taking a moment to just come back to stillness and to notice body, mind, spirit. Has anything changed since you started your practice? How do you feel? And then lift your gaze or open your eyes and bring the hands together at heart center. Separate your feet, shoulder distanced or a little wider with the feet angled out. We're going to sink down into the mat in Malasana. I do this as part of every practice. It's a big hip opener. It's also called a yogic squat. And if it can be hard on knees or hips though, if you have any hip or knee issues and this is not available to you or comfortable, just come down to an open hip seated position like we started the practice. Bring your hands together at heart center, Anjali Mudra, and then exhale as you bend the knees and sink the hips toward the floor. And then try to lengthen the spine and broaden the chest. And breathe. Few more deep breaths. Just letting that big stretch and opening come into the hips and thighs. Also a nice stretch on the low back. And then exhale as you release the rest of the way onto your sit bones. Extend the right leg out in front of you and bend the left knee, bringing the sole of the foot to the inner thigh of your extended leg. Pull and grab your yoga belt, have your belt handy. Pull the flesh out from underneath you if you're fleshy. So just removing that thigh flesh to sit the root bones and get them firmly rooted on your mat. If your hips are tight and this left knee is more upright, grab your pillow or your blanket or your block and just slide it under there to support the leg. And then lasso the arch of your extended leg with the belt. If you don't have a yoga belt, that's okay. You're just gonna guide your self with your hand. So no worries if you don't have a belt. Stack shoulders over hips, reach up with the crown of the head, draw the belly in as you inhale, broaden the chest, and then exhale. Forward fold. You're going to try to keep that spine straight as long as you can and lower it down toward the thigh. And you're going to go in phases. So just listening when you start to feel a little resistance in the body, it's time to pause, take a deep breath. As you exhale, you may find that you can go a little deeper and continue that process until you found your deepest fold. At the very end, if you add a little rounding into the back, that's okay. You just want to keep the spine, get as much length and depth in the pose as you can. And take some deep breaths. Once you've settled into your deep stretch, this is one version of Janu Shirshasana, which is forehead to knee pose. And breathing as deeply as you can down into the low part of the back. One last breath in your fold. And then inhale as you draw yourself upright. And you can just release the belt reins, but keep the foot activated. So we're going to add a twist here, and what tends to happen is we lose the focus and the leg gets lazy and there's an external rotation. The ankle gets weak and you lose the activation. So keep the ankle flexed, the toe pointing straight up. Take the left hand right behind the hip. You want to try to keep the shoulder over hip alignment. So don't lean back and do the lounge lizard look. You want to keep that hand right by the hip. Inhale the right arm up. And as you exhale, twist, looking out over the left shoulder. Bring that hand to the outside of the thigh. If it doesn't go there, it can be on the inside of the shin. And breathe. Twists and folds help to quiet the nervous system. Nice way to start to wind down your practice. And as you settle in, just see if you can take some deep breaths. And then release as you inhale back to center. And exhale to lower the arm down and switch sides. You're going to extend that left leg long, bending the right knee, bringing the sole of the foot to the inner thigh, removing thigh flesh as necessary, and also supporting this right leg with a block or a belt or a pillow if necessary. Lasso the arch of your extended leg and realign shoulders over hips. Inhale to reach up with the crown of the head and broaden the chest, and then exhale to forward fold. Go nice and slow, again, listening, doing that series of folding, stopping, watching, and then deepening on your next exhale until you found your sweet spot. And then just come back to the breath. Take one more deep breath in your full. And then inhale, drawing yourself upright. And release the belt, but keep this left leg activated. Take the right hand behind the right hip. Inhale the left arm up, getting length. And then keep the length as you twist down here from the navel. Look out over the right shoulder and bring the hand outside of the right thigh, modifying as necessary to bring it inside of the shin better. A few more deep breaths now, breathing down into the low part of the spine. One more full breath here. You could try into the nose and out the mouth. Like a sigh. And then inhale as you sweep the arm up, coming back to center. And exhale the arm down. Just set the belt to the side for a moment. Bend your knees and set your feet hip distance apart on your. Round the upper back, tuck your chin, and take your arms to your sides with palms facing up. As you exhale, slowly lower down to the mat. You're going to use your core, strengthen your core on the way down until the upper back meets with the mat, and then release the arm. Draw the heels in toward the hips. And then walk your feet as wide as your mat and place your arms by your side with the palms up. Windshield wiper the legs. So bringing the inner knee toward the mat and letting the whole hip roll up as you do that. Just releasing now all these muscles and all these joints that we opened up. And if you'd like, start to turn the head in the opposite direction of the feet, taking the stretch up the upper body as well. Nice deep breath. And then bring the knees upright and walk the feet together. Inhale to bring the knees into your chest, hugging the legs close. Let the small of your back melt into the mat. And then begin to rock right and left. And rock a little front and back. And now take those knees in the circle. And just massage the whole lower back and the sacrum. And reverse directions. Take another deep breath. And bring the knees back to center, keeping the knees bent. Take the soles of the feet up toward the ceiling. You can grab the shins or the ankles or the feet and gently draw the knees toward the floor. Stretching out the low back and happy baby. If it feels good, you can add a little movement here. Just rock around. You can straighten the leg. And then release the legs and extend your legs long, letting the feet fall open at the bottom of the mat. Make sure the shoulder blades are smooth down the back so that there's no bunching up around your neck. Place the hands by the hips, palms facing. Close your eyes or just soften your gaze. Take a nice deep breath in. And as you exhale, release all the tension in the jaw, the tongue. Doing a body scan. Any remaining tension might be on. Let it go. And then let go of your thoughts and just give yourself a few minutes of stillness and rest in Shavasana. I'll ring a chime into a short our practice.
Wiggle your fingers and your toes and turn your head gently from side to side. Point your toes and reach your arms behind you, coming into a long body stretch. And then roll over onto your right side, allowing your arm to cradle your head briefly in recovery. When you're ready, gently push your way up to a comfortable seated position. You can keep your eyes closed. Always remember that every little bit counts. Even the smallest acts of self care for better health and well being make a difference. You can do well without being